Hello, hello, hello. I am Jessica Yvonne, your book bae, coming on with a quick book chat today. I hope this video finds you well and happy Friday. So, recently I dived into the book Rebel by Beverly Jenkins. She is a new author to me. I was introduced to her through Shelby and the book club. I think that's the name of her channel. And she was actually reading the book Indigo, which I did not pick up, but I wanted to check out some of other books that Beverly Jenkins had out there. And so when I started looking through Beverly Jenkins' catalog, this series stood out to me because it was the Women Who Dare. And I consider myself to be a woman who dares to do anything. So in addition to that, I loved that Shonda Land, which we know is Shonda Rhimes, that has written some great TV show series. She actually also had a note on this book, and she says, if you haven't yet gotten your hands on this author's work, you should do so immediately. So that also made me want to pick up this book when I saw that she had co-signed this one in particularly, outside of me also wanting to read the one for Women Who Dare. So I just bought it as a blind buy. And this is actually part of a series. This is book one, and there's 3 books come to complete the series, I believe. I think it's a total of 3 books. And this book is actually, it's so interesting because, you know, next week we celebrate Juneteenth, which is the emancipation of the African Americans, of us, in 1865 of June 19th. And interesting enough, this book falls during that time frame. This book takes place during that time. And actually the first chapter is April 1867. So I thought that was very interesting because I did not even realize that was the time period for this one, because it was a blind buy. I just went by Women Who Dare, the Rebel as the title. I was like, that pulled me in. But yeah, that was interesting timing. Kismet, they may say. So anyway, I would say this is a romance / historical fiction because it touches on the Freedmen's Bureau that was set up during that time to help emancipated people, you know, with food, clothing, healthcare. That was supposed to be the goal anyway. And it also helped poor white people as well, that basically had a hard time surviving once slavery ended. Some people heavily depended on their slaves to cook, clean, farm, and they did not have the skills. And so when slavery ended, some people were very angry because that was their sole source of survival. That is how they made their money. That is who took care of them. That is how they lived. And they did not know any other way. And some people really spiraled. So anyway, let me get into the back of the book. And yeah, we'll start there. So on the back of the book, it says here, Valinda Lacey's mission in the steamy heart of New Orleans is to help the newly emancipated survive and flourish. But soon she discovers that here, freedom can also mean danger. When thugs destroy the school she has set up, and then target her. Belinda runs for her life and straight into the arms of Captain Drake Levesque. As an architect from an old New Orleans family, Drake has a deeply personal interest in rebuilding the city. Raised by strong women, he recognizes Belinda's determination, and he can't stop admiring or wanting her. But when Belinda's father demands she return home to marry a man she doesn't love, her daring rebellion draws Drake into the irresistible intrigue. So the love story that is discussed between Drake and Belinda is so beautiful. I love to see especially Black women being loved, especially since, Malcolm X has said we are the most disrespected and neglected and unprotected women, which, yeah, we are. So anyway, it's always beautiful to see us being treated like fine wine, like porcelain, like let me take care of you, let me help you, I don't mind rescuing you, you owe me nothing, I just want to love you. So Mr. Drake, he did his thing in here. It also was interesting to see different people's understanding and definition of love, because if you grow up one way seeing something between your parents and then you experience it in a different way, your expectations may very well change for the better. Especially if to you, like during this time, for women, it was about marrying for security, not necessarily for love. And so it kind of shows initially how the ultimate goal wasn't really to be loved and to be treated well. It was to find someone it's gonna basically take care of you and rule over you, in essence, which is very interesting. And I can't even fathom the idea of having to marry for those reasons. Yeah, no. But anyway, as discussed on the back of the book, Belinda is a teacher, and she moved from New York to New Orleans to help the recently freed slaves, and she's teaching them how to read, which everyone was so excited to learn because that's something that was always kept from many of us, and it was illegal to teach us how to read during those times. So as soon as they got free, they knew that's something that they had to do, they had to learn, because that also is freedom, being able to read. That is empowering. So let me share with you a few things that may make you want to pick the book up as well. Right here on page 8, this is Belinda talking. She says, "My grandmother always told me that no matter how scared you are, never show it." And then here it kind of goes into detail about the Freedmen's Bureau that I just discussed. It had been established to assist the 3.5 million formerly enslaved men, women, and children freed by the South's surrender. But as you will see, everyone that participated in the Freedmen's Bureau really were not there for the right reasons, which is really sad. Some people infiltrated it just I'll say for looks, or they infiltrated it so they could do underhanded things to make it not work as efficiently as it could. Let's see here. Let's see the next thing we want to share here. We don't want to hold you guys too long. I loved here too how Valinda, when she was talking to different women, because she came from New York to New Orleans, and she started to see the different opportunities that existed for women there in New Orleans. Here she's talking to Drake's mom, who does real estate, shipping, importing and exporting, and banking. And she found that interesting and surprising because the only things that she knew from back home that Black women had did were things that were service industry, which was seamstresses, hairdressers, cooks, and laundresses. She'd never met any who moved in the so-called male circles of industry. I thought that was interesting that she considered it to be the male industry. But thinking about it, shockingly, because I worked in commercial real estate and I've worked in banking, those fields are still dominated by a lot of men. I had never thought of it that way, but when I read it on the paper and she said those are men's industries, it really rang true, because even now, when I think about the leadership that was there, that was in power, it was all men. Very few women had a seat at the table, if any. It may have been like maybe one or two. And they still did not have the kind of power that the other men held. Okay. Let's see. Let me share one more thing here. I got so many tabs. I love this part too, because she says, admittedly, the idea of having fun as an adult was foreign. Her father would find the idea disgraceful. I've never associated having fun with anything but children. I thought that was interesting because I think a lot of adults feel that way, which is very odd to me. I am not one of those adults that feel that way. I do believe in having a good time. But yes, I do find that some adults are very serious, and to be around them, fun and laughter is not allowed. And then I'll add this one little part. There was some parts that were spicy that I did not expect. That was very interesting. Let me tell you this small portion, which is so funny because there's some spicy parts in here that I did not expect. So she's repeating something that she heard one of the husbands tell the wife, and she says here, he told her that when they got home from dinner tonight, he'd get down on his knees and apologize, and that she'd be very pleased. Sable's face turned beet red. Drake's laughter was loud enough to startle the moon. And so she didn't know what that meant, because that hasn't been her experience in life. She's, of course, saving herself for marriage and all that type stuff. But she was like, why is he apologizing on his knees? What is that? What is that? And it was just hilarious to me how she was just perplexed, like, what? And yeah, craziness. So, and then this last part I'm going to leave off with here. I loved what he said here. Her fiance, he says, love with the right person makes her stronger, not weaker. She wanted to know what love is, because of the love she had seen between her parents, because the love she saw some of her friends experiencing around her that seemed just so the opposite of what she had seen in her household. And so I think it kind of confused her a little bit to grow up with love being defined one way, but then to see people experiencing it in a whole other way, that enjoy each other's company, that love to spend time together, that flirted with each other, and that, I guess just brightened up when they saw their partner. And she wanted to know, what is that? What is love? What exactly is it? And so his quote was, love with the right person makes her stronger, not weaker. So yeah, if you have a chance, dive into this book. It is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. I'm excited to read part 2 in the future. This was a page turner. I devoured it. So good. I hope those passages made you want to pick it up, because there's so much more to the story. And yeah, Beverly Jenkins is an amazing writer. This is my first book by her, but kudos. I love it, and I can't wait to read part 2 and 3. The next thing I'm gonna have actually is a quick unboxing. So this book recommendation actually came from Kayla's Bookish Vibes. She's one of my favorites here on the YouTube. And she got to talking about this new book. And it is basically like the Black Great Gatsby. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever read or seen the movie The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio, which is a really good book. But The Great Man is based during that time frame. So thank you, Kayla, from Kayla's Bookish Vibes, for recommending this book. It sounded really good. I had never heard of it before, and I can't wait to dig into it. So let me tell you guys a little bit about what it says here. Ooh, excuse me. It says, in this poignant retelling of The Great Gatsby, set among LA's Black elite, A young veteran finds his way post-war, pulled into a new world of tantalizing possibilities and explosive tensions. In 1945, Charlie Trammell steps off a cross-country train into the vibrant tapestry of Los Angeles. Lured by his cousin Marguerite's invitation to the esteemed West Adams Heights, Charlie is immediately captivated by the black opulence of LA's newly rechristened Sugar Hill. Settling in at a local actress's energetic boarding house, Charlie discovers a different way of life, one brimming with opportunity from a promising career at a black-owned insurance firm and the absence of Jim Crow to the potential of an unforgettable romance. But nothing dazzles quite like James Reaper Man. Reaper's extravagant parties attended by luminaries such as Lena Horne and Hattie McDaniel draw Charlie in, bringing of the wealth and excess within his reach. But as Charlie's unusual bond with Reaper deepens, so does the tension in the neighborhood as white residents, frustrated by their own dwindling fortunes, ignite a landmark court case that threatens the community's well-being with promises of retribution. Told from the unique perspective of a young man who has recently returned from a grueling, segregated war, The Great Man weaves a compelling narrative of wealth and class, offering a profound exploration of the complexities of Black identity and mobility in post-war America. This is the author. I'm not sure. I wonder, is it Kyra or Kira? Kyra Davis. Or is it Kira Davis? I don't know. I have to Google that and see how she pronounces her name because she has it with a Y. I've seen people say Kira and Kyra before. But yes, so I'm excited to read this book. This is on my list of books to get to. And my next unboxing, this is just, I've bought products from this young lady before in the past. And she had a beautiful, beautiful cup. This is Cecilia's house, I think she calls the name. Yes, Cecilia's house. So during the pandemic, I bought a beautiful paintings from her. She would sell like house goods. And I also purchased a cup, I believe, in the past. So every day is a beautiful day to be a Black woman. And this is from Cecilia's house. This is the owner here. And she says, welcome to Cecilia's house, where empowering Black women is not just a mission, but a passion that drives everything we do. Cecilia's house was created by a Black woman, and with Black women in mind, it's an ode to my grandmother, Cecilia. My grandmother's house was where I first learned what empowering was, how to overcome self-limiting beliefs, how to dream big and be bold enough to pursue them well into manifestation. And it was in that same house where I fell in love with home decor. My grandmother was and still is intentional about designing a space that reflects her heart's desires, and I strive to do the same. So here's to designing a future that will leave a lasting legacy, because if you can envision it, it is possible. So I remember she started out doing like house stuff when I first discovered her during the pandemic. And I don't know, I don't think she's still selling the things she was selling it initially, because I had bought paintings, because that's what she kind of focused on. And I had purchased also, she had paintings, she had pillows, she had all kind of nice things with affirmations. And I'll probably have to show it to you guys next time. I have them on my wall hanging up. So here is the beautiful cup. I see people go crazy over the, there's a straw with it also. People go crazy over the Stanleys. I don't have a Stanley, but I did want to support this woman-owned business and her beautiful cup. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. So it says, it's a beautiful day to be a Black woman. And it is. So it's on both sides. Yes, 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 yes. Very beautiful. I can't remember what size is this? This is a 40-ounce insulated cup. And it comes with a beautiful straw as well. It's like the iridescent color. So I will be drinking this. This will be my summer cup probably. I'll be pulling this out. I like also that it has the option to not have a straw, which I probably will not have the straw normally. But we shall see. Okay, and then also what I purchased from her was this little bag. Oh, what? She sent me 2 cups. Oh my gosh, I gotta send her. She sent me 2 cups. I've purchased a bag, not 2 cups. Oh, I hope nobody, that means somebody's looking for their cup. I hate that for them. Yeah. Oh, I gotta send this back. She accidentally sent me 2 cups. Oh no. So we will be returning this one because this actually belongs to someone else. She sent me 2 cups by accident. So I'm going to, yeah, she did by accident. She sent me 2 cups. I'm like, that's not on my thing. So this is the other one. It's beautiful. It's chocolate. I'm gonna be reaching out to her customer service and letting her know. They sent me this one in error. Oh, I hate that because that means somebody didn't get their cup. Okay, so let me reach out to them. They've sent me 2 cups and somebody is missing their cup. Yes. But yes, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing weekend and have an amazing Juneteenth, celebrating the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. Don't forget to click the button, like, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Bye-bye.